Can you show everyone your tattoo, please? That's going to be upside down, Laura.
Why are you making me do it at such a weird angle?
I didn't make you do anything. You're making your own choices.
Tattoo, I can't.
You're making your own choices.
You make your own choice.
I'm here with Laura.
Hi. Hi, Roland.
Laura is a civilian.
Is that what you call them?
Laura, at the moment, is not a driving instructor. However, I'm going to be training Laura to become a driving instructor. You're going to see this face quite a lot.
You're welcome.
Now, it's a little bit different with Laura because Laura has gone through this process before, haven't you?
Yeah, I did.
Didn't make it through though, did you?
Didn't make it through.
What stage did you stumble at?
So I did my theory and passed with flying colours, and then my part 2, I failed.
Now, for anyone out there that's not a driving instructor that doesn't understand the process to become a driving instructor is 3-pronged. You must pass a theory, just like you guys do when you want to do your driving test. You must do a driving test, which is called a part 2, which is a higher level driving test. Unlike a driving test, you're only allowed 3 attempts.
Yeah, and I had 3 attempts.
Part 3 is the instructor abilities test, where Laura is going to have to conduct a driving lesson in front of a DVSA representative or the senior driving examiner. So Laura has got to qualify these 3 tests.
Yeah.
This is not a normal thing that I'm doing today because you've gone through this process once before, because the only thing I've seen is you driving in central London in 20 zones.
Yeah.
I want to see you, how you can handle driving across all kind of situations. Now, what we're going to be doing today is Laura is going to be doing a driving test, but slightly different. This driving test is going to involve motorways.
Oh, come on!
Or when I say motorways, it's going to involve national speed limit.
Yeah, okay.
This is actually one of the things that a lot of driving instructors or PDIs stumble on is the progress drive. I don't expect Laura to pass this today because...
I'm joking.
Because we haven't really started the training, but it's going to give me a very good place to start.
And I think the thing for me is, which we've talked about quite a lot, is I know that I can drive.
How long have you been driving for?
Well, actually not that long, like 12, 13 years, 14. Okay. I don't even know how old I am anymore.
26? I don't like telling anyone how long I've been driving now.
Why?
Because the older I get, it just.
You don't look a day over 55, it's fine. There's a lot of research to suggest that practical exams are the worst way to test someone's ability because it's pressure. There's nothing you can do about a driving test, like we've talked about it before, but I do know that I get inside my own head. So for me, even the idea of doing a mock test with someone who I know quite well...
Whose head would you get inside of if it wasn't you?
That's why there's so much material on driving test nerves, because it doesn't matter how good you are, unfortunately it's down to how you perform on the day.
How much training did you actually put in, though, the first time around?
I always tried to drive according to what I would drive if I was on a test or a lesson, as opposed to, because, you know, we all know when you've been driving a while, you pick up bad habits. But in terms of actual training, I probably only did about 10 hours in total. Oh,
that is the standard across the board.
But I think where I did 10 hours over probably about 9 months. Because obviously I failed. So I did about 3 hours and failed.
How much private practice do you think you need to put in to pass a Part 2 test?
Like on my own? I don't know, 5 hours a week?
No, it's not enough.
Isn't it? So how many?
You should be doing above 10 minimum, 14 hours. Now look, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going out in your car and you're just practicing by yourself. You could be going with the kids to pick up somebody, you could be going to see a friend, you could be driving up to see me. You're constantly practicing. If you'd like to follow Laura through this process, then obviously keep an eye out for these videos because they're going to be coming out. It is quite a long process, so it's not going to just be coming out all in the next 2-3 weeks.
And also, if anybody's got any tips, if you're an ADI or PDI, hit me up, please.
Absolutely.
Please.
So just like always, like, comment and subscribe because it really does boost the channel and pushes this content out to people that may find it
useful,
valuable. So we're going to do this mock driving test. We're going to be taking in all kinds of road conditions. At all times, I like to follow the road ahead unless to turn left or turn right, or unless road signs indicate otherwise. If I need you to turn, I'll tell you in good time. We're going to take in one reversing manoeuvre, possibly an emergency stop, and we're going to be doing some independent driving for about 15 to 20 minutes and I'll be asking you some show me, tell me questions. So the structure is very similar to a driving test. This is not a part 2. You okay with you tell me questions?
I don't know, we'll find out in a minute.
Tell me where you get the information for the recommended tyre pressures for this car, and how would you check them?
It's either on the inside of the driver's door or in the user manual, and you check it by using a machine at the petrol station.
Any other information? Okay.
Oh God! Got to see how nervous I get. My mind's just gone completely blank, and this is why I need to train more.
If you are a PDI in training, you could pick up a driver fault. You're only allowed 6 driver faults in the part 2, aren't you? So you do not want to be picking up any driver faults for show me, tell me questions. So extra information. You're absolutely right. Owner's manual or in the driver's door. That's fine. How many tyres you got?
4. So you check the 5.
So don't forget to check the
spare.
What temperature should we be checking tyres when they are
cold? And
what must we not forget to refit?
The dust caps.
For learner drivers, if you're on driving test, if you get the general gist, it should be okay. It's not a problem. And also, you've got 15 driver faults to play with, so definitely, as a PDI in training, you want to make sure you get those right. So when we see you next, we'll be starting the test. Okay, Laura. So whenever you're ready, drive on.
So as I said in the intro, this video is not a part 2 test. However, because Laura is training to become a driving instructor,
at the end of the road here, turn right, please.
It's important that every detail is examined. This junction poses 2 problems. You have a vehicle on your left which is making it tricky to get into the correct position, and it's a closed junction. Laura should have tried to move a little bit more to the left, and because of the risk that somebody could turn into the junction as she's trying to emerge, this is a driver fault for position turning right.
At the end of the road, turn left.
Laura signals left for this junction before she changes her position to the right to go round this van. This has no impact on anyone because there isn't anyone behind us, but do be careful because it's a conflicting signal to what you're about to do with your position.
And at the roundabout, turn right.
Laura again demonstrates good clean mirror work and timing of signal for this roundabout. Considering we haven't done any training yet, Laura is doing really well. It's nice and clean, good mirror work, good signal work, and the basics are looking fine.
I'm so nervous. Why am I so nervous?
I don't think you'd be normal if you weren't.
No.
Now at the roundabout, we're going to follow the road ahead to the second exit.
Okay.
Laura's about to deal with the apex corner following the road ahead. This is a busy, large, complex roundabout. Overall, she does well, but she does make a couple of silly mistakes.
Have you ever heard me so quiet?
No.
At this roundabout, you can pick either the left or the middle lane to follow the road ahead, although the left would be preferable. Laura initially does pick the left, but because there are no road markings to confirm she's made the correct choice, she chooses the middle. This has an impact on the vehicle behind as she changes position.
A roundabout.
She didn't know that you could follow the road ahead from the left-hand lane, but if the left-hand lane had said left turn only, the safest option would have just been to turn left. Laura waits patiently for her gap and then takes the opportunity when it comes. The traffic light in the middle of the roundabout surprises her and she brings the car to a sharp stop. It is an easy mistake to make, but she has plenty of time as she moves off, even now, to assess that this light has been green for a while.
You okay?
Yeah, absolutely fine.
She's then a little bit slow to move off and loses her lane discipline slightly, and she's also late with her exit signal. The signal I'm going to put as not noteworthy, as she was in the middle lane and it was quite clear where her direction was going. However, the other 2 are driver faults. Laura is now having to deal with her first section of progress driving. She's got a vehicle on the right and on the left, and I can understand her being a bit hesitant. But once the taxi moves back to the left, she should think about driving through. The speed limit on this road is 50 miles an hour, and she later tells me that if I hadn't been in the car, she would have just driven past. And this is the point. On a Part 2 test, the examiner wants to see a professional drive, so if you have open road in front of you and you're doing about 42 miles an hour in a 50, just get past. The other issue that this creates is you now have a following distance problem. Is it safer to just get past, or should you tuck in behind?
I'm smiling.
She was initially too close, and she is gradually dropping back, so for this reason I'm going to put the following distance down as not noteworthy, but this is definitely a progress driving fault.
Okay, so at the roundabout, we're going to follow the road ahead. It's actually the third exit, but following the road ahead, okay?
Okay. Oh, God.
Laura doesn't like complex roundabouts, and it's understandable.
So I am going to...
Following the road ahead.
Alright, I'm going to stay in the left-hand lane because it's still going straight over.
I know in the back of your head you're always concerned that the left-hand lane is going to become a left turn
Those
only.
on the road have confirmed that.
If you approach in the left-hand lane, you are following the rules. You are driving in a normal driving position. If at the last minute the road markings tell you that it's left turn only, don't panic.
That was a shit show, wasn't it? I mean, that was a shambles.
Just turn left.
Do you know what I have to say? Big roundabouts are the thing that I just get so... We talked about this before, didn't we?
We did.
Where I was thinking of taking my test before in Midway, there's one big roundabout, and I drive around that roundabout every single day, or did when I lived there. And thinking about it in terms of a test, I always think I wouldn't know what I was doing, and I don't know why I struggle so much with them, because there are clear rules, but for some reason I just get myself into a pickle about it. So I just need to practice. There's literally no,
Laura's not comfortable on the roundabouts, which we've already discussed, but on that last one, she did very well. Laura's now entering a national speed limit, which is 70 miles an hour on the dual carriageway, but there is a reasonable build-up of traffic.
So this is my thought process at the moment. I'm just going to share it with you.
Okay.
I am aware that it's national speed limit, which is 70.
Okay.
I'm driving it. Go on.
Now I'm going to give you a bit more information.
Okay.
So we are going to be coming off at the next exit.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So it's good to stay in this lane.
On a Part 2 test, if you are driving on a dual carriageway or a motorway, which is a national speed limit, you would be expected to get moving. If that means moving to the right-hand lane to overtake, then you should do so. Obviously, depending on what's happening with traffic.
And then we're going to be taking the fifth exit.
Not another roundabout, Roland.
Okay?
Okay.
So I say right fifth exit?
Yeah.
This is quite a tricky junction at South Mims, where the M25 meets the A1.
I will give you some extra piece of information as well. So we're going to be heading towards the A1081.
Okay.
It's a spiral roundabout, one-way system. I guess it's a roundabout, but it's definitely a spiral system.
Shit, my knee clicked then.
I heard that.
So healthy.
And Laura does very well.
Now I know that you don't like roundabouts.
I see what you're doing here, Roland. Right, fifth exit.
So I'm going to let you concentrate, okay?
Yeah.
It's really important on a junction like this
So that's exit 1.
that you're reading the road markings and the signs and counting the exits.
Kind of like the fact that there's traffic lights, because it means I can think. I actually failed my third Part 2 on a roundabout.
Okay, so this is a big thing to you.
Yeah, it really is.
We'll talk about it. I want you to
Yeah.
concentrate at the
Yeah.
moment.
Laura's not concentrating and she's put it in neutral. She forgets as she tries to move off and she's a little bit hesitant. This only has a very small impact on the vehicles behind, but it does have an impact. Laura is now passing the second exit and chooses not to filter. She reads the road markings well and maintains the right position.
I wonder if they'll pull us over.
Are you insured, Roland?
Hope so.
She now reads the signs well and takes her first filter. We've just passed the third exit, about to pass the fourth, and we're going to end up in the left-hand position to take her exit. She smashes it. Laura's about to pass a parked van on the side of the road and doesn't check her right wing mirror as she passes.
So what were you saying about roundabouts?
I can't remember. I was so in the zone then. I actually don't think I breathed for a minute there.
That was really good.
Was it?
Yeah.
But I had to really, well, I suppose you have to really concentrate anyway. That's the point. You should concentrate when you're driving. Too many people don't.
But what do you do if you make a mistake?
Now I am talking to her, which is also a distraction, and she does check her centre mirror. Because we're travelling at speed, I'm going to let this one go. But do be careful, because this itself could be a driver fault.
It picked the wrong lane, what should you do?
Just follow it through and, yeah, find another way.
Okay, I'm going to let you concentrate.
Laura's now picking up her speed as she's still in a national speed limit, which is 60 miles an hour for a single carriageway.
Oh, I've been to Barnet before once.
Okay, so at the roundabout, we're going to turn right.
Laura doesn't check her centre mirror for this signal, or in particular this slowdown, and I'm literally looking right at her. So this is a driver fault for mirrors for signal. She also doesn't check her centre mirror as she exits this roundabout. I would expect a PDI in training or an ADI to check it. Laura continues her good progress drive along this country lane, again as it's still national speed limit.
Now, are you familiar with this car?
No.
Okay. What should we have done before we started the engine then?
Had a talk about it.
Yes? Well, if you get into a hire car, what should you be checking before you drive off?
Oh my, I should be doing my cockpit drill.
Yes, so not your cockpit drill, it's your precautions before you start the engine. Okay, so the show me question on the move. When it's safe to do so, if you could put the front demister on for me, please. And fantastic.
It's only because I was watching your other video like 2 minutes ago that I noticed it.
And we'll leave that clip in to plug the other videos. Why not? A shameless promotion.
Well done. Now, when it's safe to do so, I'd like you to find somewhere to pull up on the left in a safe place.
Now, it doesn't feel right to pull up on the left on a road like this, but it doesn't say anywhere that you
Do it on
can't.
a curve, bend.
Okay.
Laura correctly looks for the safest place possible.
Okay, so now we're going to perform the emergency stop exercise. I want you to bring the car to an immediate and abrupt halt under full control. My signal will be stop, and I'll be making sure it's nice and safe behind us.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
I'm going to remove that just in case. So whenever you're ready,
Okay.
drive on.
I didn't.
You're not used to it. Don't worry about it. It's not your car, is it?
No, it's not my car.
When you do your part 2 or your driving test, well, not your driving test, but if you do your part 2, what sort of car do you reckon you'd be doing it in?
Probably.
Whose car would it be?
Well, a car that I'm familiar with at least. My
Yeah.
car or.
Would it be yours, wouldn't it?
I mean, I'm not sure.
Okay, so we've got a problem now, haven't we?
Yeah.
Just tell you what I'm going to get you to. If you just, find somewhere to pull up.
Okay. This guy's going to overtake me.
Hmm? Okay, and then hopefully if no one is coming again, we'll drive on when you're ready.
It's I keep going to put the handbrake down, but there's no need to, is there, in this car?
No, there isn't. And stop. Brilliant. Thank you very much. I want to ask you that again. Driver when you're ready.
There is a car coming. Keep going to it there. I'm just going to wait for this guy to overtake me.
Laura's not used to the electronic handbrake, and that's all that this confusion is, but she rightly waits for the car to overtake before she drives on. And then we pull over again in just a few seconds, and this is the start of the sat-nav.
You will arrive at your destination at 1:34 p.m.
In fact, I will continue to direct you until it takes over, okay? There you go. That didn't take long.
Thanks, Tom Tom. So helpful. I'm driving slower because there's a horse in the road and horses get freaked out.
I like that.
I do, and I guess it was enough.
Thanks.
But I think I would have slowed down even
Have
more.
I told that? I've told that story. I've told that story when I left my handbag on the Central Reservation. That's for another time.
Central Reservation of a motorway. What?
Yeah. Oh, God.
Laura's
Yeah.
talking
Okay.
and she's a bit distracted, and she doesn't notice we're moving into a 40 zone. We are shooting a video and we do know each other. However, on your test, you could easily be lulled into a false sense of security and have a chat with your examiner. The conversation continues and she doesn't pick up her speed. This could escalate to a serious because there's a vehicle behind, but the car is not troubled and doesn't try to overtake or put her under pressure. For this reason, I'm going to put it down as a driver fault, but this could easily escalate. There is no problem of talking to your examiner, and I always think it's better to be a person than a number, but beware because you're still being graded.
But I think for me, like, having been through the process before, even though I am still nervous, I'm in a much better headspace now. And this, for me, is learning. So if there are things I fail on or specific things that come up, they're things to work on. That's why I love a mock test.
They're invaluable.
After
Yeah, they
3
really
quarters
are.
of a mile, keep right.
Laura now gets a little bit confused on the sat-nav and doesn't quite understand where she should position. What she should be doing is listening to the sat-nav
Don't know if that was
and
right
then
to do
reading
that.
the signs. And she's now got a following distances problem again. This time, because it's sustained, this is a driver fault.
Nah, I did it wrong. See how chubby I went then? Nah!
Laura should be reading this sign here, which would have confirmed that she'd made the right choice, but she doesn't, and so she moves back to the left.
After 400 yards, keep right, then cross the roundabout and take the second exit.
Oh, I wasn't. I did it right. See, I second guessed myself.
Oh, Laura, it can happen to the best of us.
So annoying. And I've been here before. Laura,
Didn't you come this way?
I came this way.
All right.
I'm annoyed now.
Take a breath. Take a breath. Okay.
But the good thing is I did the right thing. Maybe a little bit early, but I need to have more confidence in maybe that I know what I'm doing sometimes.
Okay. It's all part of the process, though, isn't it, Laura?
Yeah, it is.
It really is.
Keep right, then cross the roundabout and take the second exit. Cross the roundabout and take the second exit, A5109, Selvage Lane.
This is probably the only part of this area that I know.
Laura should have a left signal on now, and she does put it on, just very late.
I have to make notes.
I know you do, because
Yeah.
I'm learning.
Yeah. Just notes. That's all it is.
It's just you do it so
Flamboyantly.
vehemently. Look at me using big words.
It's a great word.
Vehemently is my favourite word. When I'm really cross with someone, I'll be like, I disagree vehemently.
I was going for, I think it was more flamboyant than Yeah.
Or whatever it was.
You know.
I didn't like it.
And then after all that, I've got to write another one. I think I look a little bit sheepish doing this one.
That'll do. That'll do. Okay. And we're going to do the reverse parallel part using that car there. I'd like to move off next to it and then reverse the car back in, finishing off reasonably close to the curb and parallel to the curb within 2 car lengths of space. Does that 2 car lengths of space make sense?
Yes.
Back end of your car is the 2nd car length. Are you ready?
Yep.
Drive on.
This is not the best place to do a parallel park, but we're running out of time and she is a full licensed holder, so it is what it is. Laura overall does well. Her observations are good. Her control, she possibly comes back a little bit further than 2 car lengths, but she forgets one essential observation, which is looking over her shoulder as the car swings out. Now, the likelihood that somebody would be trying to pass her at this point is slim to none because of the parked van.
So I remembered how to reverse this time.
However, whenever you perform a reverse exercise on test, you must understand that it's part demonstration, and for this reason, you can pick up a serious fault. And as I said before, she's now gone beyond the 2 car lengths. On the day, for some reason, I gave her a driver fault for the control part, but that could also be serious.
You done? Yes? Done?
Yes.
Okay, brilliant. That'll do. See you at the test. How was that?
Oh, it was absolutely horrendous.
Was it?
Well, the beginning bit was. It was a bit of a baptism of fire, I think. Yeah, it was terrible. I was in the wrong lane, going around that
Talking about
first
the apex.
roundabout. Yeah, that was horrendous.
You weren't in the wrong lane.
Wasn't I? Should I not have been in the left-hand lane?
You didn't have to be.
Okay.
What indicates where you can go?
That arrow's in the road. The whole being left unless you can't be left, and I had no reason to pull out of the left-hand lane.
Pass or fail?
Fail.
Okay, what do you think you fell for?
There were a couple of times where I should have been. There was a fair amount of, like, on the dual carriageways, I think I wasn't in the correct lane, or I took too long filtering into the left lane. There was a couple.
Okay, so you were driving up I know exactly what you're talking about. You were driving up the middle lane
Yeah,
and you wanted to get back to the left,
Yeah,
didn't you? What are
yeah.
the centre and the right lanes for?
overtaking.
How close were you to that vehicle that you pulled in?
What, in the
behind?
left? Quite close.
Quite close.
Yeah.
So, were you driving the speed limit?
Yes. Well, under.
How much more did you have?
Probably a couple
Available.
of miles.
Okay, so what could you have done if you'd have hit? What would you have been doing if you'd have hit?
Overtaking.
Would you have been allowed to stay there then?
Yeah.
That's the thing, right? So this is part of training session as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you're overtaking, I can't say anything.
No, that's true.
I would even go as far as saying that sometimes, obviously, because we've got following distances to think about as well. So if you pull in behind that car, how close are we?
Too close. I think that's the thing, isn't it? It's like making the judgment between, okay, so I'm in the middle lane. I guess it's do I need to be in the middle lane? And I was thinking to myself, once I pulled over, if I was driving normally without Roland in the car, I would have carried on going.
Serious fault.
Yeah. The park.
Yeah, you didn't check over your shoulder as the car
Okay.
was swinging out.
Okay.
That for me is the only serious fault on the test.
Okay. Damn. So close.
You did all your observations, it's absolutely fine. You've also control-wise, because that was barely tucked in. I mean, like, really? As a driving instructor, so we're going to do. Look, and in all fairness, we haven't done any training on any of this. Okay, let me just run through this with you.
Okay.
Okay, so gears, you stuck it in neutral, forgot, went to move off, couldn't move off, first in line of traffic. Is that a good idea?
No.
Okay. This car has start-stop technology, so you don't need to worry about sticking it in neutral and taking your foot off the clutch, because it will just cut out. So it's not for an eco-safe thing. Why would we do something like that? Because we want to rest which foot?
Clutch foot.
Now, on a test, are we worried about resting a foot?
No.
Okay, long journeys, I would definitely agree, but definitely not if you're first in line of traffic. Mirrors for signals. Now, mirrors for signals, just a couple of times you're checking the wing mirrors, not checking the centre mirror. Like we came up to we came up to a roundabout, turning right, that mirror checked, and then we came off it and it was just that mirror checked.
Okay.
And if you were checking that one, I didn't really
wasn't.
think, no, I don't think so.
I wasn't.
Mirrors for change of direction. This was on the approach to the apex. You just went into the middle lane. I wouldn't have done it. You would have stayed in the left. Now, I'm going to assume you went to the middle lane because you thought the left-hand lane was...
Filtering to the left.
Only.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair enough. You weren't aware of that, and you can't see the road marking, so you can be forgiven for it. But when you did it, there was a car coming. Didn't massively interfere with them, so I'm just going to put it as a driver fault. Mirrors for change of speed. This is when you came up to that traffic light and it turned on you.
Yeah.
Okay, and I've put on the back here, anticipate traffic lights
when you went
changing. Yes, because when we were going around South Mims as well, coming up to the traffic lights, you're just going at speed at the point where I can see that you're not thinking that light can change. And if they do change on you like that, someone's close behind us, what could happen?
They could rearrange you because they're not expecting you to stop.
So we need to be, what can we be doing then with the gas pedal as we're approaching?
Well, have our foot over the brake or...
When I say gas pedal, I mean the accelerator, but because they're on an Instructor, I say gas because it's just easier to say.
There we go.
Anyway, okay, moving on. There we go. Signal times, a couple of times, a bit late.
Okay.
Even the last one coming off the roundabout, bit of an afterthought. You're already out.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, so it's a couple of times. Following distances, 2. Now.
Too close?
Well, that one where you've moved in behind the car.
Okay, yeah, fair.
Right
That's
behind
fair.
it, and you didn't need to be there.
No.
That's following distances. And another time, I'm trying to remember where this was. This was on the dual carriageway. Was it on the dual carriageway? Dual carriageway, I think, coming back. And you're just too close, just a little bit too close.
Yep, fine.
How far should we be from the vehicle in front in normal conditions?
Tyres and tarmac. No, 2 seconds.
2 seconds.
2 seconds.
And how do we work that out? How do we count that off?
Find a landmark.
Yes.
Count 2.
Yes.
And if you
how would you count 2?
Just 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi.
You can do Mississippi, you can do 1,000. Yeah, that's absolutely fine. But make sure you get to the end of the Mississippi if you're going to do 1 Mississippi. Otherwise, it should be Mississippi 1, Mississippi.
Okay.
Okay, otherwise you'll still be within that distance.
Yeah.
Progress appropriate speed.
Yeah.
We went into a 40 zone, you didn't pick up your speed.
Okay.
We were talking.
Yeah.
You then, after a little while, did pick up your speed, but I would have expected you to pick up your speed straight away.
Yeah, okay.
Junctions turning right at the beginning. Right at the beginning. We've moved off from a horrible position. You're turning right, and it's quite a tight road. There's a parked car on the left. You didn't consider bringing your car a little bit to the left. You just straddled the road and then turned right and kind of cut the corner a little bit as well. Just could have done better there. It's just something to think about. I've got awareness and planning. Awareness and planning. Where did you do that?
Did it right. See, I second guessed myself.
The awareness and planning. Just that lane change.
Yeah.
You moved in, it was really good. Then you moved back, and then you moved back again.
Oh yeah, that's so annoying.
Yeah. Silly.
I thought that would be a serious.
Sat-nav told you to do it. Why did you come back?
Because it said keep right.
It said move to the right.
It said keep right.
Yeah, so why come back to the left?
Because I was already in the left and...
You were in the left. You moved to the middle.
But listen. When I was already in the left, it said after such and such keep right. So in my mind, I was like, okay, does it veer off to the left or do you need to be further right? Because keep right could be after this point, there's going to be another lane on the left.
It's telling you to follow the road ahead.
Yeah.
You can see you're coming up to a roundabout. What other indicators have we got that you're coming up to a roundabout?
The signs, the floor.
Which is where it comes into awareness and planning.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you've got, so the sat-nav is telling you you're going to go ahead. What should you be looking for?
Signs.
I don't just rely on that. And I've got that on here as notes. Awareness planning. 2 things. 1, you need to plan a little bit better on that. And number 2, you've got to be reading signs. I'm not sure if you are reading them.
I don't think I am.
No.
It's been a problem that I've always had. I had that last time.
Definitely something. This is going to be one of the major things you're going to be working on when you go away to practice. The lane discipline is 1 for lane discipline. And I believe this is what happened on the apex when you came round. You just kind of lost your discipline a little bit, which is why I put lane discipline. So you did do something on the apex.
Yeah.
Okay. Overall, marking this as a driving test, you failed because you that observation.
But aside from that, if I'm looking at a part 2 standard, 1, would have
2,
failed.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Now. And 1 serious. Okay. That was a silly mistake. If you hadn't have done that, that would have been passing a driving test. So we need to do something. You need to go away practicing sat-nav.
Yeah.
Like properly planning on it, and then bringing sat-nav to signs, especially on these kind of complicated kind of junctions. You said to me you had a massive problem with roundabouts. Look what you did on South Mims. You did that bang on
That was
right.
good. Yeah.
You did it bang on right.
Yeah.
And you got to the 3rd exit, and then the road splits, and you just immediately took the one to the left. You must have been counting that off
Yeah, I was,
to know that there's only 2 exits left. Is that what happened? So, and then you saw A1081. And then you knew you were in the correct lane and you came off. So you did really well on that. I thought that would be a banana skin, and it wasn't. I wanted to see what you would do if you made a mistake.
Freak out.
But starting off with, well, I say starting off because I haven't started off with positives. I'd normally like to start off with loads of positives. I actually think that's a pretty good standard to start off with.
Yeah, I'm actually happy with that because I thought it was way worse.
If you want to follow Laura's journey, look out for the next one. This has been sort of her mock test, driving test. So if you like what you've seen here, hit the like button, subscribe if you want more content, and I will see you in the next one.
Bye.
Might see Laura in the next one as well. You never know.
See ya.
Get well out.